Alright, so let's talk about this here 690 dirt bike. So I've owned this bike I think about 6 weeks now. I've officially made the first payment. And excuse me if it's a little windy, but this is where I'm at, so you'll have to deal with it. So there's a lot of things I like about it, there's a lot of things I don't, and there's a lot of things that need to be tested yet. So the first thing I don't like about it so far is I'm starting to dislike the suspension a little bit. There are some complaints online that it's not very good. My first impressions were that it was pretty good. Now that I've ridden it kind of in some gnarlier stuff, a lot higher speed, it confuses me a little bit. It feels like it's undersprung to me. I'm constantly bottoming it out. That said, I have the compression clickers and stuff turned all the way out. Roughly, I don't know, maybe 145 pounds right now. And the thing is if I don't turn the compression clickers all the way out, it rides real harsh. So I don't know. I don't know if the stock suspension on this thing is that great. The bike handles absolutely phenomenal on the road. I've still got the stock Pirelli MT21 tire on it on the front. I'm running that Kenda big block on the rear that I absolutely hate. I hate it. I hate it. It's not really a bad dual sport tire if you're mostly on the road. I don't know, maybe it's got 400 miles on it so far. It's wearing okay. It just doesn't have any traction and on the dirt. And I think that I might love this bike a little bit more if I was actually making some traction with it, but I haven't had tires on it that'll do that yet. So I really don't know how the bike handles because it's constantly squirrely all over the place, and I know that it has a lot of horsepower and I don't weigh very much, but it just isn't hooking up, and I have a feeling that it's the fault of the tires. I'm longing for a lighter off-road bike. I've got a KTM 350 XC in my sights at the moment, I think. I don't know how I'm going to afford it, but where there's a will, there's a way. Once again, this bike is absolutely phenomenal on the street. It's supermoto, it's just badass. I mean, it just cranks on the road. And like today, I rode 120 miles of pavement to do my off-road ride. And those 120 miles of pavement were awesome. I've also put a 16-tooth countershaft sprocket on it now. So I'm telling you right now, if you do a lot of highway riding, this thing can use a 16-tooth sprocket. And it's actually pretty good, the gearing. The KTM Duke runs, the 690 of course, runs the 16-tooth. And the transmission actually handles it really well. The stuff that I'm in today isn't particularly slow, but I was putting around kind of in the little technical stuff along the shoreline, and I just kind of slipping the clutch a little bit in first gear, and it works really well. Once again, my only problem is traction. I just can't get any traction on this thing because of the tires. So I'm looking at some Moto's tires. I don't know, I need something that I can use on the street a little bit. I mean, I don't care if it handles on the street at all, because the bike actually does really well on the street no matter what. And I can tell you right now, it's not because it's got good street tires on it. So I'm just thinking that I need to compromise and put some really, really aggressive off-road tires on this thing. I'm not used to riding big four-strokes. That's just the way it is. I'm really not that good at it, admittedly. I like the bark and the lightweight of the two-smoker motocross bikes. I've always liked the stiff suspension and stuff. And man, this is a busy damn road. When I'm riding this thing off-road, I think that maybe I get over the front end a little bit too much, and the weight of the bike pushes and stuff, and then not having real awesome tires. Wow, I just noticed this tire is wearing wearing kind of funny. Anyway, it pushes around a lot on me, but you know, this bike throws me around like a tinker toy. I mean, I'm not a big guy, and I really can't expect it to be a motocross bike. So I really love it on the street though. It's really, really good. But anyway, I absolutely hate the shifter on it. The shifter is a total piece of crap. KTM, what the hell were you thinking? Does anybody use this thing? I keep feeling like I'm gonna get used to it, and that I am used to it. It's just like every time I stab it, the tip folds. It's not your typical KTM off-road shifter like my last 250SX had. It has a rubber tip on it. I don't know, the spring is too weak in it or what, but every time you step on it, the thing collapses. When you're shifting, it collapses. It's got a real square edge on it, so it kind of digs into your foot when you're shifting. I'm really enjoying the rally pegs on here. They needed to be on there. And yeah, I just need to get this traction issue figured out. And I think that may change a lot of the way that this motorcycle handles. I can't tell you how many times it bottomed this son of a bitch out today though. It's just, I was clearing some pretty good daylight on it, which I know it's a 350-pound bike, and I know it's not a 350-pound bike, okay, but it is a 350-pound bike. This damn awesome skid plate that I got on there, it weighs, I don't know, 8 pounds or something probably, and you know, I've got some heavy-duty tubes and things like that in it now, so it is a 350-pound motorcycle. If I had a scale, I'd weigh it for you. So, anyway, a 350-pound motorcycle is going to drop pretty hard from the sky, and like I said, I feel like maybe it's undersprung, and I don't know. I get a bike stand next week finally, and so I can check the free sag. I don't feel like I'm too far off on it, but you know, maybe I am in the static sag or whatever the hell I'm trying to say. But anyway, that's just my thoughts today on the 690. We had a good ride. We're gonna have about, I don't know, 160 miles when we're done, and maybe I can splice a little bit of what I was doing today. I was in a little bit of sand, and I wish I had a lot more sand. I feel like this bike would be really good at like 50-mile-an-hour sand whoops and stuff, as long as the suspension was set up. I don't know, maybe it would buck me off, but the engine is it's real powerful, mostly in the top end. And when you can get it up into the meat of the power, you know, 55, 6,000 RPMs, and it starts to pull, everything kind of smooths out on it. But unfortunately, that's not the terrain that I ride in most of the time, and that makes sense because that's how it feels on the street too. So anyway, KTM 690 thoughts into week 6 here, and just had myself a little bar for lunch and a little bit of Gatorade, and I like the Gatorade Endurance product, by the way. It's not the same as Walmart Gatorade. And had to plug my boulder salt. I did have a bottle of water with some boulder salt in it. And if you don't know what boulder salt is, check it out, bouldersalt.com. Keep you hydrated in your rides, and you don't have to drink a bunch of stuff that's going to give you diabetes. So anyway, little boulder in my bottle. Okay, I'm back to riding my dirt bike. We're going to head home and cruise some pavement. Hang loose from Hawaii.